Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak to the conference report.
The delegate has the floor.
Gratitude, Mr. Speaker, and I'm definitely going to speak to the compromise, which I think is unfortunate. 1 in 5 Virginia veterans stand to benefit from this retirement reduction. That's not the same 1 in 5 that will retire today or even in the next 10 years that are probably currently right now facing food insecurity. This bill has an emergency clause order, leaving many of the current and future retirees saying whiskey, tango, foxtrot. Why? Because this was touted as a means to honor the sacrifice of our military veterans by making the Commonwealth the best place for military heroes to pursue the next chapter of their lives. I quote that. How, Sway? How? When the eligibility requirement compromise was at the age of 55. The average enlisted person retiring is 42 years old. The average officer retiring is 47 years old. And let me put you up on game. Military folks are considering where they're going to go 2 to 4 years before they separate or retire. That's when they're in their late 30s or early 40s. The veteran community was told that these policies were rooted in the commitment to compete with neighboring states regarding veterans' benefits and tax treatment. But the truth is, 26 states, including our neighbors, North Carolina, don't tax the retirement. We're on the roll to reduction, but our other neighbors, West Virginia, Kentucky, Maryland, DC, Tennessee, don't even have an income tax. The outcome of this compromise leaves me questioning, who are we competing with? More importantly, who are we competing for? It is not the mid-level enlisted or officers or retirees who are the bulk of the retirees we have in this Commonwealth. In the office of the 89th District of the House of Delegates, we are a certified V3 employer. On our staff is a 24-year Navy veteran who recently moved to Virginia because of a natural disaster in Florida. When that veteran chose to come here, she was shamed by her fellow retirees. The most important part is that that veteran is not going to be eligible for this benefit for another 10 years. Look, tax exemptions, quite frankly, for military folks for retirement isn't really the make or break factor as to why they make a decision as to where they decide to live. It's cost of living, it's affordable housing, it's childcare, it's groceries, it's utilities, it's healthcare access, it's quality of life. And we aren't necessarily leading on those things. So why Virginia? Why? The truth is, the primary thing that brings veterans here is something that we have very little control over. That is access to DoD employment. And if the work wasn't here, many of them probably wouldn't be. So it is my grand hope, sincerely, that next session when we're discussing supporting veterans, especially when we consider it an emergency like tomorrow, that we lower this ceiling with our friends across the hall, and that we lower the ceiling and lower the age range to serve a vast majority of our retirees, not the top 10% who earn a more than full-time salary as retirement. Those folks can only live on resilience for so long. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.